Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alfriti and Today FM rocks here in Tabwa.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilaiti Ambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Osur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, harsher penalties for rapists. Catholic Church adamant to have demands met. And safety of road workers a concern.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Amrita Sagar.
The courts in Fiji have been given the green light to increase the maximum sentence for rape to over 20 years following the alarming increase in sexual assault and rape cases involving our children. The current maximum rape sentence is 20 years. However, Chief Justice Anthony Gates says if one is convicted for rape with aggravating factors, then the accused may spend over 2 decades in prison. Ali Kimbia with this report.
Child rape, including sexual assault involving our future generation, has become an extremely sickening trend in the country, raising many questions on what more can be done to punish the sex culprits.
Tariff for rape has gone up, child rape that is, from now it's 11 years to 20 years. But the courts have also said that if it's a really bad case with aggravating factors, the tariff may be exceeded.
The recent rape and sexual offences statistics released by the DPP revealed 6 people charged with 10 counts of separate incidences last month. The 6 victims that were involved were all under 18 years of age.
It's one of those things, we have to get it off our chest, we have to know what the extent of the problem is and then find ways of resolving it.
Chief Justice Anthony Gates says parents play a huge role in protecting their children and they must not let their guard down even if a relative lives with them in the same house.
Nobody wants to see fathers and brothers sent to prison, but at the same time, children must be protected.
The Chief Justice also stressed there's a great need for research to be conducted to find the root cause of this growing problem. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Upholding our Catholic educational values is something that we live for and we will die for it, says Archbishop Peter Loy Chong. Sending out a strong message during a forum held in Suva this week, the head of the Catholic Church maintains they will continue to push the government to meet their demand to have its own church members as head of their schools. Ali Kimbia once again.
The documents.
Not mincing his words, Archbishop Peter Loy Chong is standing by his demand to the education ministry.
Something that we will not, allow to be aborted by some people. We will, live for this. We will die for this. We will hold on to this as our mission.
FBC News is still awaiting comments from the Education Ministry regarding the issue. However, the Archbishop says they will continue to fight for what is best for the Church.
Bishops need to support and enhance the work of Catholic schools. The bishop must see to it that education in his schools is based on the principles of Catholic doctrine.
Archbishop Loy Chong says there is more to this than the issue itself.
So for us, it's education. It's not only scientific education or academic intelligence or knowledge, but also divine truths that we communicate.
More dialogue is expected in the coming days between the Catholic Church and the Education Ministry. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Concerns have been raised about the safety of road engineers working on the 4-lane road upgrade from the Rewa Bridge to Nakasi. Fiji Roads Authority Chief Executive Jonathan Moore has raised his disappointment against arrogant drivers who still treat the active construction site as a highway. Akosita Tale with more details.
Despite the warning signs alerting drivers to drive slow through the active construction site, some drivers continue to disobey these and drive recklessly, putting the lives of these workers at risk.
We have quite often we have people slamming to a halt in a car within meters of my guys, and my guys are saying they're not going to work in those conditions, and I'm not expecting them to. I'll pull them off site first, and to be frank, if it causes disruption or delays, then so be it. My guys' safety is more important.
Jonathan Moore is calling on drivers to treat the construction site with respect and allow his men to conduct their work in a safe environment to avoid any incidents.
This road in particular, because people seem to think that King's Road is a highway. Right now it's a road under construction. They need to get used to that idea and treat it with a bit of respect. We put lights up, but it's never the same as daylight. And we do see an incident of even worse driving during the night than we do in the day. The day is bad enough, but at night time it's terrible, and I'm very concerned sometimes about the safety of my guys on the road.
Drivers are advised to drive with caution and be aware of the 3.8-kilometer upgrade currently underway along this busy corridor. The Fiji Roads Authority has also confirmed they're working closely with the Land Transport Authority to ensure arrogant and irresponsible drivers are penalized. Akusita Kali, FBC News.
A heavy rain warning that was previously in force for Vanuatu, Taveuni and nearby smaller islands, Lau and the Lomaiviti group, has been cancelled. The Fiji Meteorological Office says a weak trough of low pressure remains slow moving towards the country. The system will affect the country till Tuesday. Now, Fijians can expect cloudy periods with isolated afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorms with heavy falls. For eastern and interior parts of the larger islands, cloudy periods with some showers with isolated afternoon or evening thunderstorms and heavy falls is forecast. A flood alert still remains in force for low-lying areas adjacent to and downstream of the Nangali station. Now, as a result of heavy downpour this afternoon, 2 major slips and 1 minor slip happened at Dilkusha Road in Nosori. Fiji Roads Authority confirms as a result 2 vehicles were pushed down to the riverbank. FRA also confirms that no one was injured and no fatality has been reported. FRA says the road is closed to all traffic at the moment and will open once the road has been cleared. Still to come, call for more private sector participation. And a tale of a business that began from under a lemon tree. Details after the break.
Bula, neva ngo malakai leloma, ngo ngai nakas on duwa rong nam bula fem, nam bandua ena sere.
Oya o vasit sai se lambasa, e on do talita ina warong nam bula fem nam bandua ena sere.
Gua do tumeli ako na tau no hinga toka, talita kina na warong nam bula fem, nam bandua ena sere.
E wana tuma nam bula fem, nam bandua ena sere nawaluan.
Na vengo fane na tau no ngo singa toka, kita do talita kana bula fem, nam bandua ena sere.
Bula FM, nam bandua ena sere.
Officers from the Legal Aid Commission have been reminded that communication and sharing of information is important within any organisation. Closing the Legal Aid Corporate Workshop in Nandi, Attorney General Ayase Kayum highlighted the important need for staff to remain customer-focused. Kelly Vidala reports.
The role of the Legal Aid Commission was again reiterated to participants and officers of the workshop, give Fijians access to legal services, advice and options.
Sometimes people work in the same organization, but if they do not share information, they're not able to communicate well. Sometimes even within the same office, you can have enormous problems. And of course, now you have a network of offices. So you should be able to communicate with each other across all the offices. There may be certain matters that may be, for example, peculiar, you may think to Nosori. There may be a similar issue in Taveuni, or maybe Lambasa, or Rotuma, whatever the case may be. And that sharing of information is very, very critical.
Attorney General Ayase Kayum says many a times Fijians only seek legal aid assistance because it's their only hope.
Sometimes, of course, what they want, what they would like done, is completely outside the scope of your organization, completely outside the scope of your mandate. But you still must give them that particular level of attention and treatment and give them an avenue through which perhaps they can address that particular matter.
The AG also called on the members of the largest Fijian law firm to be resourceful and be on their toes with administrative changes in the country. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The government says it has been and will continue to encourage more private sector participation in the divestment space. Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says the government is planning to divest other companies in the near future. Catherine Krishna reports.
The Attorney General says Fiji can expect more divestment opportunities, adding this will be a good chance to engage with the private sector.
We are currently working on a number of entities. Of course, there's some that we'd like to talk to you in private about, and others, of course, will be putting bids, including entities like EFL. So we urge the board to look at it, and of course, place yourself further within the Fijian commercial and economic sector. It will give a wonderful opportunity for your shareholders to pick up some fantastic dividends.
Fijian Holdings Group Chief Executive Noza Farid says they have attained full ownership of the government printry, but this is not the end.
We also want to make few more unsolicited transactions with the government. We want to say that we want certain other government business. So we are still negotiating whether they will sell or not, but we are very keen to move forward. So like this, we are also very keen on Energy Fiji Limited and other government ventures which the government want to divest.
The Attorney General says divesting government businesses will also assist shareholders attain dividends from their shares. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
Fiji spends millions of dollars importing tons of shrimp every year. The Fisheries Ministry says shrimp has a high commodity value globally and is in high demand. Kelly Vidala reports.
Shrimps has become a widely available commodity sold at various prices in the country.
We are actually now on an average importing close to about 400 to 500 tons of shrimp annually into Fiji. That's about 25 million Fiji dollars. So what we have also been doing through our ministry is also boosting the shrimp growing sector, because shrimp is a very high demand and high value commodity.
Principal Fisheries Officer Shailendra Singh says they're trying to achieve one of the government's key focus of import substitution.
A lot of tourists come to Fiji to eat Fiji grown fish, but like we are still feeding them overseas imported food, sometimes which is the quality is not so good. So what we are also emphasizing to our farmers that we want to improve and encourage Fiji grown shrimp as well, in order to meet another one of government's key focus is import substitution.
Fisheries Officer Melly Vembe says aquaculture is one of the best solutions and they will try to further develop this practice for various reasons.
The answer to addressing this is aquaculture. So that is why it is critically important that fisheries develop aquaculture to reduce pressure on the wild. But the long and the short is that aquaculture is a tool that many fisheries managers actually use to address the need for sustainability.
Shrimps are commonly traded for the hotel and tourism sector in Fiji. However, one of the ministry's biggest challenge is to reduce this import bill. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Great people have one thing in common. It's their humble beginning, ugly, tough, rough and rugged foundation. This resonates well with Vijay Prakash, owner of Vijay's Hair Salon in Mokoi, who is not only a businessman but people's go-to when they needed a fresh cut. Aksita Tale has more on our Successful Fijian tonight.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Vijay's Hair Salon has provided service to thousands of residents in the Central and Eastern Division, with some even traveling from as far as the west to get the best haircut. But the journey behind this family business is one to be told. The late Vijay passed away in 2016, however his legacy will live on with his children and those that he met along the way. But his humble salon journey began in the 1970s, charging as little as $1 a haircut for children and $2.50 for adults.
It started actually under the lemon tree, and his father, my father's father, my grandfather was also a barber. So you know how during those days they used to use clipper and all that. So a chair put underneath the lemon tree, and then later on he put it as a shed. But on the side he was a skilled worker, so he was doing carpentering, joinery and other stuff. He was working full-time as that, but on part-time basis after hours, and also on Saturday and Sundays he'll be cutting hair from home.
Vijay would collect around $900 a week. sufficient enough to support his small family and pay his 5 children's school fees. This was done through discipline, sacrifice, integrity and loyalty. Even his children had to sit in a line to get their hair cut.
Everything he did was from his money. He's a very good budget, I would say. He fed us well, and we also had farm, those small gardens, backyard gardens. If we want to get our hair cut, he'll tell us, go cut 2 dozen of cabbage, then I'll cut your hair, because cutting your hair free is not a good thing. You'll have headache. I don't know why he used to say that, but this is how he raised us.
He opened his first salon in 1973 but had to co-share it with another businessman. Vijay even had to move his family to a squatter settlement after they were evicted from their home, but this did not dampen his spirit to move forward.
I can still remember when I was small, I would climb that lemon tree and I'll be hanging upside down looking at him cutting the hair under the lemon tree. And then later on he made a small shed attached to the house. We were in the 2-bedroom house, and then after that, development started taking place, and then we had to pull out our house. What we want to talk about is, amidst all the challenges, development taking place, house getting pulled out, you have to rebuild. We rebuilt the house about 3 times, and then you go and stay in go and make arrangement with the squatter settlement, try and stay there, raise your children.
The little income invested in his children's education was able to produce a philanthropist, an IT engineer, an economist and a nurse. But his children's future wouldn't have been bright today if it wasn't for his silent struggles.
We had so much respect. So the first time I was cutting his hair, I can still remember my hands were shaking. Like, okay. But over time he told me, he said, don't worry, for hair cutting you have to be very confident, because there's a guy in front of you who trusts you to cut his hair, and you have sharp tools in your hands, So okay, I get it. Slowly I started cutting his hair, and then I got pretty used to it. I could actually cut anyone's hair at that time as well.
His passing from heart disease 2 years ago could have ended his business, but his strong personality pushed his children to reopen a new-look salon on Saturday, named after him, to cater for the thousands of residents in and around Makoi. There are also plans to expand the business in the West and the Northern Division. Ako si Tatali, FBC News.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Ahead in sports, Tabua goes down to Lautoka in VPL match. And weightlifting, Fiji sends best to Nauru.
Lola, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singatoka. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Koroko, Singatoka. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singatoka.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Lautoka started with a bang in its first match of the Vodafone Premier League, thrashing Tavua 6-0 in its game at Lautoka's Churchill Park this afternoon. Lautoka football coach Kamal Swami says his side will look at areas for improvement before their next match.
Looking at the first half, I think we were a little bit reluctant to go on attack and keeping possession. And that's what we talked about in the second half, and that players abided by, and then we started getting goals.
Well, Samuel Ndrundu scored 3 goals for Lautoka, and a defensive blunder by the Tavua defender and goalkeeper sees Serusi Nalambu scored another goal for the Blues. 2 more goals from Colinio Sivoki and Dave Randringai sees Lautoka off to a convincing start to the season, and here are the highlights.
Stopped again by Hosea. Hosea plays it back for Drundru. Drundru turns and Samuel on Drundru in the 8th minute of play. Again, Naulambu hustling away still. Naulambu turns and Sarusi Naulambu has run up, so to say. And he has made it 3-0. 39th minute. In comes the pass, and Samuel Adrundru gets his second. Is away on the broadcast touchline side. Samuel Adrundru on the edge of the box, and then Dave just sneaks in. Samuel Adrundru with a chance to get his hat-trick. Samuel turns and drives, and Samuel Adrundru makes it 6-0.
The Fiji Airways men's 7 coach Gareth Baber says the world stage will be watching his 2 new players, Filimoni Botitu and Meli Derenalangi, at the Hamilton Sevens after their good outing in Cape Town. During the team's final training session at Albert Park last Friday, Baber advised the duo on how to handle the pressure as the tournament draws closer. Baber says his new players will be on the other team's radar as they head into Hamilton at the end of the week.
For the likes of Botitu and Derenalangi, it's their second group of legs, and people are going to be watching them now. So they're not a surprise anymore, and that comes with its own expectation and pressure. So I've got to manage them through that, and having people like Paula or Jerry and Joshua and Callie around them is very important so that they understand how they do that and they're provided with the strategies necessary to do that.
Weightlifting Fiji is sending one of its lifters to compete at the Independence Day Championship in Nauru next week. Timothy Vakurivalu, son of Weightlifting Fiji's Vice President Della Shaw and fitness instructor Henry Elder, will represent Fiji in the competition. Korai Tandulala reports.
25-year-old Timothy Vakurivalu says he understands the huge responsibility and the pressure he will be undergoing into the tournament.
There's a lot of pressure going into this competition because I'll be also going against a lot of big names in the Pacific and also in the Commonwealth. So this will also set a good platform for me building up to the World Juniors that is in June. And straight after that is the Pacific Games that will be in summer.
Meanwhile, the second trial for weightlifting Fiji had a good turnout yesterday compared to last month.
We had a good turnout today. I think there was around 37 lifters. So it's very promising. There's a lot of good athletes that we have. A lot of them are very fresh, very new athletes. But you know, with a lot of attention paid to them, a lot of good training, and a lot of support, they will achieve the goals and the targets that have been set for them.
Fiji will be hosting the Weightlifting Junior Championship in June. Korai Tandulala, FBC Sports.
The National Rugby League 9 side will be seeing off one of its players to play in the Nuras Pirates Rugby League club in Australia. NRL 9's coach Vulaono Danguitonga says their aim is to field local players into the international arena. Danguitonga says most of the players have been offered international contracts, but they hope to remain for Fiji for the Pacific Games.
We have Timodeno Motukula who will be leaving at the end of this month, January 31st. And we had a talk, and he said that he is willing, to come back if he is needed.
Fijian-born and French wing Filippo Nakosi scored a try to help his Toulon side win 27-24 against Josh Matavesi's Newcastle Falcons side in its round 6 of the Champions Cup. Flying Fijian Josh Matavesi and Nemani Nagusa each scored a try for Newcastle Falcons, but it wasn't enough to match Toulon. Yet Manchester United continues its winning streak as the side held on to beat Brighton 2-1 in the English Premier League match this morning. The win ensures a 7th straight victory run for the Red Devils since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over as manager a month ago. Cloudy conditions with some showers and isolated afternoon or evening thunderstorms. Heavy falls over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands is being experienced. Elsewhere, cloudy periods with isolated afternoon or evening thunderstorms and heavy rain is experienced. Checking the west town for today, cloudy conditions prevail during the day. However, some showers and thunderstorms is expected tonight. And eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, it was a cloudy day with rain in most areas. All the way up north, similar cloudy conditions with rain and thunderstorms are forecast from this evening. At sea, northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, moderate seas. There will be poor visibility in areas of heavy rain and thunderstorms. For the tides, high tide will be at 11:58 a.m. with low tide at 5:57 p.m. Sunrise will be at 5:51 a.m. As for tomorrow, clouds will clear up for blue skies in the west. With the central and northern division, they will continue to receive rain and cloudy conditions. And as we look further onto Tuesday, cloudy periods with isolated afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorms with heavy rain is forecast. Recapping the main stories, green light for harsher penalties for rapists. Catholic Church adamant to have demands met and safety of road upgrade workers a concern. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. Onto our poll questions segment. This week, we're asking, is Fiji ready for a passenger train in the street? You can visit our FBC website to answer. You can always send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight. Until next time, good night.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.